Welcome back to another episode of The Cure for Cowardice. In this one, I wanted to talk about sleep and kind of how I have noticed it affecting my life. Now, I am somebody who has a long and complicated history with sleep. When I was younger, I was thrown on all types of meds because I was the whole ADD, ADHD, whatever other acronyms they want to throw on it for a kid just being a kid. And I got doped up hard. So here I am taking this cocktail at 5, 6, 7 years old. And it made me get in less trouble, but it also made me an insomniac. So as a child, I cannot sleep. So basically, fast forward a while, I finally get off the meds. I still can't really sleep. And so what I would do is more or less really hard power naps. So my bedtime was 8:30. I would be up usually until anywhere between 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. I would pass out for a couple hours, wake up at 6. I would take a shower, pass out for half an hour, 20 minutes, eat breakfast, get on the school bus, pass out for half an hour on the way to school, go through my school day. I usually had maybe one class that I could nap in, so I'd call it another half hour there. And then I would pass out on the way home from school, and then I wouldn't go to sleep again until 3, 4 a.m. the next morning. So I was on that schedule for a while. Obviously, I was a mess. It didn't work out for me and probably wouldn't work for anybody, but that's what I did for a while. And then I got to be a bit older, and I realized that if I got more sleep, I was a better person in general. I was able to get more done. I was happier. I was more alert. I wasn't a zombie all the time. I wasn't irritable. So I started getting more sleep. And then fast forward to now, I was starting my days getting up around anywhere from 8 to 10, 11 o'clock. And then I would go to sleep around, call it 1, 2 a.m. So I have to get up earlier now in order to get the stuff that I need to get done. And so I've been waking up usually, I would say, around 7 o'clock these days. But I've still been going to bed around 1, 2 o'clock. So for the past 2 weeks, I was getting I have a Fitbit so I can see my sleep. I was getting anywhere between 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night, when usually I work better getting around 7 to 8. And so I was waking up, and I was just sluggish, and I was tired, and I just wasn't really getting shit done the way that I needed to be. And I would gas out and be extremely lethargic by the time the afternoon came. And so last night, I made it a point to start my bedtime routine that I recently restarted, by the way. I made it a point to start my routine an hour or two earlier than I normally would. And the whole time I'm thinking I'm going to bed early tonight so I feel good tomorrow. And so I probably ended up getting to sleep around midnight and woke up at 7. And you know what? Crazy thing happened. I feel better. I feel a lot better. In fact, I would wager that I feel better today than I have the past couple weeks put together. And it is because I went to bed early. When in reality, maybe that's just when I need to go to bed. Because there's all this focus on productivity and making the most of our time. And one would think the less time I spend laying there doing nothing, aka sleeping, the more that I'm going to get done. But what I am realizing is if I get a good 7 hours of sleep, 7, 8, I would say like 7 is kind of my sweet spot. If I get around a good 7 hours of sleep and don't cut it short, I'm able to get more done in the, what would that be? In the 16 hours that I'm awake than I would be if I was awake for 18 hours and only got 5 hours of sleep. And it's like, I'm awake for less hours, but I am attentive and focused and on point for more time total. And so, I guess what I want to say is, if you're somebody like myself that figured the more time that I spend awake, the more time I can spend getting stuff done, and that goes not just for productivity, but that also goes for free time. Because that was another thing that I would do, is I would stay up so late because I wanted to hold on to this free time that I had where I didn't have anything to do for the rest of the night. The more time that, or the less time that I spend burning the candle on both ends, the more that I'm able to get done, which means the more I'm able to not only enjoy the time that I am awake, but the more progress I'm able to make on the things that I'm trying to progress. And so, instead of being like, let me sleep as minimal amount as possible in order to have the most time to get things done, it's like, let me get the highest quality sleep no matter how long that takes, because if I perform 25% better across those 16 hours that I'm awake, it's going to be worth a lot more than the 18 hours that I might have been awake performing 25% worse. So, it seems like common sense. And again, I mostly make these videos for myself, but like, fix your sleep. Everybody says it, sleep is one of the most important things, but you really don't believe it until you experience it firsthand. And let me just tell you, if you take 2-3 weeks to really get your sleep schedule locked in, and when I say schedule, I don't mean just when you wake up, but I mean your bedtime routine as well, the things that you're going to do every time in order to get your mind and your body into that state where it's ready for sleep. If you can lock that in, the rest of your life is going to get multitudes better, because you will be able to have the energy, the clear head, and just the general good mood to be able to move things forward at a rate that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And here's a little hack that I learned from one of my very, very, very good friends. If you are somebody who has a hard time waking up on time, hard time going to bed on time, here's the trick. Here's the ultimate hack that I've learned. There's 2 things. Number 1, set 1 alarm. Don't snooze it. This is something that I used to do a lot, and I think I even talked about it in other videos, where I would snooze it and get these tiny power naps in between each snooze to try and squeeze out that last little bit of REM sleep. But if you don't get up until the alarm goes off, and then when the alarm goes off, you get up no matter what, even if you literally just stand there and like stare at a wall, if you just don't go back to sleep and you let yourself wake up, that's going to be, number 1, extremely powerful. And number 2, this is the most important part of the 2, for me anyway, is like, okay, so let's say you go to bed typically around 1 to 2 o'clock. If you want to start waking up at 7, wake up at fucking 7. It doesn't matter how late you were up the night before. If you wake up at 7, then that day you might fall asleep. Instead of at 1 to 2 o'clock when you finally get tired enough to pass out, you may be tired by 11 o'clock and then passing out by midnight. And all of a sudden, if you can just stick to the action of waking up at the specific time that you need to wake up, no matter how your sleep was the night before, your body will calibrate and your body will naturally get tired and ready for sleep around the time that you need to be going to sleep in order to get the best possible amount for your body. And then I guess this would be a bonus tip number 3. Stop drinking caffeine past noon, or honestly I would say even past like 10, 11 a.m. Especially if you are somebody who needs to be waking up at 6, 7, 8 a.m. because caffeine has a half-life, meaning that it'll be half as strong as it was when you took it in, of 12 hours. So you know what that means? If you drink a cup of coffee or an energy drink or whatever it might be at noon, and mind you, I don't mean open it at noon, I mean if you opened it or if you started drinking it earlier and the last bits of caffeine that you're putting in your system for the day is at noon, that caffeine will be half as strong as it was when you put it in at midnight. So it's like, how could you possibly expect to get a good night's sleep at 12, 1, 2 a.m. if you're sitting here drinking caffeine in the afternoon? It just doesn't make sense. It's like expecting to lose weight and all you do is eat all day long. It's like, of course you're not going to lose weight. Like, just use common sense. And again, I'm mostly speaking to myself here. But, so yeah, those would be the 3 points that I would say. If you really want to fix your sleep schedule, if you really want to lock in the one thing that is going to have the greatest impact on your life, by far, like, literally, you can throw everything else out the window. If you just get this one thing in order, your life will get much better, is sleep. And those 3 things would be, number 1, don't snooze, get up. Even if you have to stare at a goddamn wall, even if you have to walk outside and lay in the grass, no matter what it is that you have to do, don't snooze. Don't go back to sleep after that alarm goes off. Just be awake, no matter how long it takes you to wake up. Number 2 would be wake up at the same time every day, and this includes weekends, by the way. Wake up at the same time every day, and your body will naturally start to get tired and make you fall asleep when you need to, because it'll recognize, hey, we need to wake up at this time tomorrow because that's when we woke up yesterday, today, and the last week or 2 weeks. So wake up at the same time. And number 3, stop having caffeine so late in the day. Like, realistically, like, let's say you're trying to go to bed by 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. I would not have a single drop of caffeine go into your system past, like, 8 or 9 a.m. Because, again, it has a 12-hour half-life. So anyway, I think that's all I got for now. I just wanted to talk about this because I literally cannot describe how much better I feel today compared to yesterday. And if you want a very clear example of the difference, right now it's 10 a.m. I'm on my way out to the field for my main job. Go back and look at my video yesterday and see how different I was at this point. Anyway, I think that's all I got for right now. So I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey, I just wanted to hop on real quick and add one more thing. I can't believe I forgot this. This is probably the greatest thing that I could possibly have done to improve my sleep. The like, waking up at a specific time, not snoozing, not having caffeine too late. Those are extremely important. This one thing, though, that I'm about to say, by far was the greatest thing that I possibly could have done for improving my sleep. You want to guess what it is? I stopped using my phone in bed. Crazy, I know. I do not have my phone within arm's reach while I'm in bed. I don't sit in bed for anything other than sleep. The only thing that my bed is for, and I mean the only thing, is sleep. So that when I lay down and I cover myself with blankets and I get into a comfortable position, my body knows with no questions, no doubts whatsoever, what the goal is at that time and what the processes are that are about to take place. And this is something that I feel like doesn't get brought up anywhere near enough. Everybody I know will lay there in bed scrolling on their phone. They'll wake up, grab their phone, and without even getting out of bed, or maybe they'll get out of bed to go to the bathroom and then lay back down in bed, they'll sit there on their phone. And it's like, if you want to fix your sleep, stop using your phone in bed. Don't use video games. Honestly, don't even read in bed. Have a separate area for everything that you do, because your body will train itself and it will start to switch into that mode immediately. Like, this is not an exaggeration. These days, I fall asleep, literally no exaggeration, within 5 minutes of laying down. Almost every single time. Usually it's less, actually. Usually it's more like 1 to 2 minutes. And everybody I know, I show them my Fitbit where it shows my sleep. Everybody that I know is in complete shock. They're like, how do you do that? Because I don't use my goddamn phone in bed. I don't play video games. All I do in bed is sleep. And that is the number one most important thing that you can possibly do. So anyway, I can't believe I forgot that before. That, honestly, if you did just that and you threw everything else that I was talking about out the window, your sleep would get 100 times better. Maybe 10 times, let's not exaggerate. But 10 is still a fucking lot. We're talking about a 10x multiple to one of the most important activities that we possibly do for everything else in our lives. So anyway, just wanted to add that. Now, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.